Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a little sequence specifically for low blood pressure. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll start using the chair for Ardha Uttanasana, which is the half intense stretch pose. Now it does depend on your hamstrings, your pliability, as to whether using the top of the chair for support is better for you, or whether using the seat of the chair is an option for you. Now, of course, we can have an intermediate height by putting a bolster on the seat of the chair or perhaps a couple of bricks, and that could also be a variation that you could try. So with the feet as wide as the mat, let's find our level of support, whether it is the full height of the chair or going all the way down or somewhere in between. You cross the forearms and you rest the forehead down. The idea is to have the head a little lower than the heart. But watch that you're not rounding the back in order to achieve that. We don't want to be putting pressure on the organs in the front body. Do your best to tilt the pelvis forward, so there may be a stretch in the hamstrings, but then bring that length to the front body. Can you draw the breastbone forward towards the head side as you rest the head down? We keep the kneecaps gripped and the quadriceps activated, but the shoulders can relax. And we go on working with the lift of the sitting bones so that the spine can lengthen and straighten. And as we stay, we tune into the breath, smooth, slow, steady rhythm of breathing. Be conscious of the flow of the breath, the feel of the breath, the touch of the breath. How is that affecting the rib cage? And as we think about coming out of the pose, we don't want to come out quickly. We want to just move slowly so that we don't disturb the feeling of quietness and we don't cause the blood pressure to plummet. So as we start to lift the head up, you can press your hands into the seat of the chair and just pause momentarily without lifting all the way up. We want to draw the head up a little higher than the heart so that the blood can drain from the head back to the heart and we're not causing that feeling of lightheadedness. When you're ready, you can slowly come to stand all the way up, and if you do feel lightheaded, set your hands on the back of the waist, draw your chin to your chest and lift your chest up towards your chin. So you're bringing in Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. And when you feel any lightheadedness has subsided, then you can raise the head up again. We're going to come to sit down and do a couple of forward bends using the chair as support for the forehead. Let's bring a blanket in for the buttocks to sit on. If you feel stiff, give yourself a good amount of height. You can fold the blanket up considerably. But if you're reasonably supple, just a two-fold blanket here. And we'll bring the legs underneath the chair. You want to feel that you can hold on to the seat of the chair with ease, that you can press your thighs down and have the chest lifted. Now, again, if you feel stiff in the hamstrings and coming forward with your forehead to rest on the forearms on the seat of the chair feels difficult, and particularly if you think you have to round the back a lot to get yourself there, note the compromise that might be happening here in the front body, as well as the rounding, the excessive rounding of the back. Maybe you need to put a bolster or a brick or two on top of the seat of the chair so that you can reach forward, maintaining that length in the front body. But if you are supple, the chair can move away from you so that you're hinging at the hips, you're still keeping the length on the front body, and the forearms can come onto the chair, the forehead onto the forearms. You'll note I've got my feet hip width apart, and I'm not letting the legs relax and fall out to the sides. I'm pressing the thighs down, I'm rolling the inner thighs down, and I'm lengthening the inner feet away from the groins. And once more, as I rest the forehead on the forearms, I want to relax the shoulders, the neck, the base of the skull. And I'm continuing to keep the thigh muscles activated, pressing the thighs down, broadening the back of the knees. Easy, steady breathing. Now, as we come out of the pose, let's raise the head up, move slowly. You can release the arms from the chair and we'll come to sit and find some steadiness here. We're going to move on and do a variation of Viparita Karani. We'll be using the seat of the chair for the calf muscles to rest on, and we'll bring a bolster in for underneath the pelvis. You see my setup here. I've got the chair facing the bolster. The bolster is just a little distance from the chair, and that may depend on the length of your legs relative to the height of the chair. And then I have an unfolded blanket for the head and the neck. So we can start sitting on the bolster, and then as we take the calves up onto the seat of the chair, we ensure the back of the pelvis is on the bolster, and we come down onto the shoulders. And we want to feel the head and the neck can be supported. But consider where the chair is. We don't want the hamstrings pressing into the chair. We want to have the chair far enough away that the hamstrings aren't being pressed into by the chair. And you'll note I've got the thighs on a diagonal. It's important to have the bolster in the right spot. See if you can place that under the waist, the back of the pelvis. So then you feel the pelvic bones and the lower ribs are the same level. Don't have it too far towards the tailbone because that causes the pelvis to tilt up. The pubis lifts up higher than the navel and the ribs. So as much as you can, bring the bolster under the waist and the pelvis. But then again, you don't want to be too excessive in that direction. If it's coming under the ribs too much, then the buttocks fall down towards the floor and you're overarching the back. So it's that happy medium between the two. Now, we could put a belt around the legs to hold the legs together. If you feel like your legs are going to fall out to the sides, and in an effort to stop that, you have to work the muscles of the inner thighs, it's good to work with your belt. You could put a belt here around the thighs, and I'll demonstrate with that. Then the palms can turn up, the shoulder blades draw under towards the bolster so that the chest is well lifted. We want to feel that the collarbones are drawing down towards the floor, broadening the space underneath the collarbones. Then relax the body, let go of the legs, the hips, let go of the spinal muscles, let go of the throat, the jaw. Feel free to close your eyes, soften the skin, the muscles around your eyes. Observe your breath and see that in time the breath slows down, it becomes quiet, becomes subtle as you rest. As we consider coming out of the pose, we're going to move slowly. Bend the knees a little more, and you can dig the heels into the seat of the chair enough that you can lift your hips, push the bolster towards the chair or off to the side, settle the hips down onto the floor, remove the belt from the legs, and again, just rest the calves on the chair there for a moment. Hands can come across to the abdomen, legs relaxed. Feel the back of the pelvis broaden, the back waist broaden onto the floor. Then as you're ready, you can bend up the knees more, roll to the right side, support your head. Stay resting on the right side for a moment. And then you can slowly make your way up. We practiced only 3 poses of a longer sequence specifically for blood pressure, and I do have the full-length class for low blood pressure on my website in my video library. If you'd like to check that out, plus over 350 other full-length classes, go to heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below. You can start with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.